Okay, so right now it is Thursday night. I have a market tomorrow, around 3-ish is when I have to leave to make it on time for setup and everything. And then I have another one on Saturday. Both of them I kind of agreed to pretty last minute. I had ordered new business cards, but unfortunately, there was an issue with the people that I ordered them from in their system, and they got delivered to my previous address, which is my mom's address, so like I can go get them, but it's like multiple hours away. And I'm not going back until next week for a visit. So I need business cards for the next 2 days, and I have these stickers I ordered to like test a new sticker company that I'm not going with, and I'm not gonna trash talk them either, but the stickers are just not the quality that I was looking for. And when I test new stickers, I typically will use my logo, which this actually is my old logo. I recently updated it, and the new business cards I have the new updated logo on them. So these are actually my old logo. And I'm just making some makeshift business cards because the event I'm doing tomorrow, I did the fall version of it. So there's one in spring and there's one in fall. And I did the fall one in November. It was my most profitable event I had done all year. It was a really good time. I also was popped up next to a bunch of my art friends, so when it did get slow, it was so nice because all of us were just joking around and talking the whole time, and then after we broke down, we all stood out there and talked for like 2 hours before we slowly started to taper away and go our separate ways. And it was actually a market where I met, like, there's only one artist I didn't know that was already, that I had already been somewhat acquainted with before, and now we're like really good friends and hang out outside of art events. So it's another reason I love doing pop-ups, is you get to meet people who have similar interest as you. And I'm actually going to see her on the market that I'm doing on Saturday. So, really looking forward to that. The market I'm doing tomorrow is also more like family friendly, and my younger cousin is a young artist and she loves coming with me to these events, and I love bringing her. I love exposing her to new things. She loves seeing all the different types of art. And she's a teenager, so I trust her to like walk around a little bit in the area. And plus, it's nice if I have to like run to the bathroom real quick, she can sit there and watch my stuff. Make sure nobody has sticky fingers, which I don't know. I would like other artists who do like market events that aren't artist alley type things, because I really don't do that. My art really probably wouldn't do good in an event like that. I do more like festivals and concerts. I also do like oddity events. Like I do that type of stuff. And I'd like to know if anyone else has issues with people having like sticky fingers and like walking off with stuff. I really don't. When I do, it's small children who are unmonitored, and it's always the bracelets, because I do these bracelets that are very similar to stuff you could find in the early 2000s. A lot of the beads I use for them are actually leftover beads from those bracelet making kits that they sold back then. I had a few because I was really crafty and hobby like as a child, and me and my cousins would sit down and do them, and my friends also. But you end up with a lot of extra supplies when everyone decides to get you those. And they just kind of sat on a shelf for years. And when I started doing this, I thought it would be a fun little thing to do and to make them in adult and kid sizes. And they do really well. I actually need to restock them. But that is the only thing that I really have issues with as far as people plucking things and walking off. I did have a mom one time come back to my booth like an hour later and was frantically apologizing because she did not realize. I didn't realize either. And she was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it because now she's attached to it. Like, how much is it? I'm so sorry. And it was kind of a funny situation because at least she was a good and honest person enough to like come back and pay for the bracelet. And she made her child hand the money over. It was so funny at the time. But I really don't have an issue with pickpocketing type, or not pickpocketing, but like, you know, like, people just like grabbing stuff off the tables and walking off. But I watch other artists and the type of people who do artist alley events, and they talk about that being a problem. So I want to know what you're, like, if you're an artist and you do market events of any kind, like, do you experience issues with like theft? I don't know. Maybe it's where I live. Maybe it's just not a big deal. And there's a lot of respect for like the artist work. I genuinely have no idea. But these stickers are all stuck together. They've been in this bag forever. No, but I always like to, I do prefer to order like my logo whenever I'm testing out a new sticker company, just because now I have some type of branding material and I can use it for packaging stuff up. Say if somebody orders something online, I now have stickers to stick on things that have my logo. And then emergency situations like right now where my business cards did not come in. Well, they did, but to the wrong address. And now I have to make makeshift ones because they're actually quite important. Especially if somebody wants to contact me later about commission, or if it's another event coordinator and they would like me to come. Sometimes you get businesses who do pop-ups for promotional events and they want to support local artists, so they want to work with you, and it's better to have a card. And sometimes people just, they're not on their phone all night and they want to follow and support certain artists later. So typically when I do like a pop-up event, or if especially if I do a weekend like the one I'm about to do where it's a lot, where I'm doing 2 back-to-back, I really do end up with an increase in my following. Because when I started doing this, I did not have a lot of followers, and a lot of my Instagram followers are organic growth through market events. So even if like I don't sell a lot, I typically do that, so it's, you know. Okay, so my next thing I really need to do is make a new price sheet. I have this old handwritten one, but I don't have like half those products anymore, or I do have them, I just don't have enough for me to bring, and I need to do a restock, which I will be doing before I do my fall markets. But considering I wasn't planning on doing these 2 markets that I'm doing, and I kind of agreed to them last minute, I don't have anything for them really. I mean, I have some prints that I need to bag. I have everything, but I need to put them in like their packaging so they don't get messed up with by the humidity. If I can speak. So I'm going to write like a quick little list of the stuff that I actually am bringing and the prices, so I can make a new accurate price sheet. Also one that looks better, because this is not it. Which I don't know what I'm doing a sale as well, so I think I'm gonna make a separate sign for the sale, and it's gonna be, I'm doing discounted originals, and then I'm doing a buy 2 prints and you get a free sticker. And I'm gonna have to put those on some cardboard, that way I can put it by like the entrance of my booth. I don't know, because I also have these like really cheap wooden easels. They were a gift. They were a gift. I probably wouldn't have bought these, but they stand up pretty okay on their own, like that. And I don't know, I'll have to see if I can stand it up. Let's see, does it? Scissors. I also have 2 paintings that I need to put the wiring on the back so that they're ready hanging, because I don't frame my originals. Unless it's like a flat paper, but if it's canvas, I just finish the edges so you can hang it like that if you would. Okay, that works. I can do that. Just hopefully there's not like a really bad gust of wind, and because yeah, if there's a gust of wind, it'll take it out. But that's not a bad idea. It'll be fine. I can work with that. So I need to make signs and price sheets, and then I also don't have a banner for my booth. I want to get a better banner type thing than what I used to have. It was basically like a giant poster. But I want one that goes from either end of the back of my booth. So when you're like looking at it, you see the pink tent, and then you have like the blue banner with the logo and all of like my socials and everything else. And then I'll have my little signs like scattered throughout the products. Which it'll eventually look nice. I'm just hoping I can make these pieces of cardboard look good with just like Posca pins and construction paper. So that is all we are working with. I don't even think I have a glue stick, actually. I've been gluing a lot of stuff in my sketchbook, which I'm almost done with my sketchbook. Like, I've put a lot of stuff in here. But I've been gluing a lot of stuff in here too. Like on this page, I cut up some old art and glued it in, and then added some extra stuff to it. So my glue stick died. I need to go buy a new pack. Especially because I like to work with. I kind of ramble. I guess I'll. The more I do this, I'll figure out how to stop rambling on and on. But okay, I need to finish writing down this stuff, and then I need to figure out how I'm going to turn this piece of cardboard into some decent signs for the next 2 days. And that's the thing, it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be cute and work for the next 2 days, because after that I probably will not be doing any markets. If I do, it'll end up being like art walk or something with my friend. Until fall, which by then I will have ordered a lot more stuff. And I will need all new price sheets and so on. I also need the few buttons that I have, like in pins I have left. I think I'm gonna go ahead and make mystery bags too, which they'll be like B grade stuff, but I don't really have any extra bags for 5x7 prints, and the only B grade prints I have are 5x7 prints. And what I use for my large prints are actually like sheet protectors that you would put like in a binder for school. So I don't know about that, but we are about to see, I guess. Well, I'll figure something out.
That looks good.
Thank you.
I really like that.
trying to get a shot of like everything.
There's just so much. And hopefully there's more later.
These are her as well.
Sorry, it's flying.
The wind needs to chill out.
It's up.
Hello, I'm Jonathan of Jonathan Nathan Art, and I'm an artisan madman, creator of Creepy Curios.
Let's get a shot of your art.
Right as the band starts.
I know, right? And then
How many left sprint?
okay, you can go.
Hi, I'm Megan. My business name is Sparrow Fairy Threads. I work with a lot of different mediums. I crochet, I sew, and I mostly like to upcycle things and give them a new life.
I actually sew with like a new hat because I love my hat, but now that's like when it's cold out hat, you know?
Yeah, I start making more summer hats.
Love. So I had 3 markets for the entire second quarter. I had Obscure Baton Rouge, I had Hot Art Cool Nights, and I had Bridge the Bars. Overall, the entire quarter I did not do very well with any type of sales, just kind of like in general. I had Obscure BR first. I forgot to take notes about how much of it how much money I made from that event. I do remember it being kind of slow though, compared to other obscure events that I have done, but I don't remember. It's been so long since I actually did this to now, and I didn't take any notes because like, oh, I'll just do a debrief directly after. I did not do a debrief directly after. That was April. I'm filming this in October. Genius, Sophia. Great, good job. So for future, I will be writing it down and debriefing, even if it's just like bullet point talking points to talk about when I do the actual recording part. Because that actually makes sense. Anyway, moving on. After I had that, I had Hot Art Cool Nights, which that one really sucks that it was a bust because I was really excited for it. I did the fall version, which is White Light Night, the year before, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much great, like so much fun, I loved it. It was my most profitable event the entire year, only for Hot Art to just be crap. Now, I will not speak as like negatively on the event itself. It was the weather, so nobody was really walking around doing something they were supposed to, and I mean like steady rain, not a super heavy downpour, but it was just like steady rain the whole time. I will say where I was set up was in front of the sushi restaurant, and it was really good, because afterward my sister and I were like, food? And we were just tired of everything. If you see me looking over here, my laptop's right here. But yeah, for Hot Art, I really didn't do that much. I did about like 3 sales. We sold 2 mystery bags and a print. So, not a lot. And then the next day was Bridge to the Bars, which Bridge to the Bars is the event that I did have footage of like me setting up, and then like footage from my art friends, which all of them that were in those clips that I have, they're all gonna have their socials and stuff like that linked in the description, so if you want to check them out, that would be great. They're really amazing artists, and I'm sure they would appreciate your support. But it was just wasn't my best market season. And normally my busiest season is October, November, and like the first 2 weeks of December. I normally have just markets like every weekend, and I just entered into my last quarter 4 for October, and I have nothing lined up at all because I was supposed to be out of town working, but that's a whole other story. So now here I am home, no market events, nothing going on. I might try and do a few things kind of last minute. If I do that, I know I will probably want to do White Light Night the most, just because it was my best event last year, so probably be a pretty good event this year. I don't know. I think I made like $80 after fees and gas, and then I normally end up buying food. I think I made $80 profit total from 3 different events. It was just not it. Now, I will say Bridge to the Bars was still a really nice experience because I got to talk to a lot of different artists. I like seeing my friends. It was the event I made the most sales at, but again, it was not very busy. But again, it's probably because of the weather, because it did rain a little bit that morning, and it had rained all day the day before. And that was the day that Hot Art was. So that is probably why it was the way it was. And it did like kind of like sprinkle and like kind of misty a little bit during the event. So I don't know. It was fun though. I had fun. There was a little bit of like networking opportunity, and all of my customer interactions, even people who didn't purchase anything, were really good. It's really good positive interactions, which I really don't have a lot of issues with negative interactions, and since I've moved this direction for like this side of the state, and I do more events on this side of the state. When I was back the other side of the state and I was doing stuff over there, I did get some negative interactions occasionally, but I typically try to stay in kind of my niche, because I do more obscure stuff. I do like the weird, the macabre, that's kind of what I do, and I try to stay with markets that align with that, and because of that I do have a better market experience overall, and I've been doing it for about 2 years now. I'm getting better. I'm trying to get better about like everything overall, but also recently I've decided that I think I want to change up like the type of products that I have. I want to do a lot more stickers. I want to get more into apparel and like things that people can physically wear or like carry around with them. For like other physical products, I was thinking about trying to do like keychains and stuff, because I feel like those would be just like better for my stuff. There's this like print on demand type business model where I can also what do you call it, bulk order some to bring with me, like bring with me on markets and stuff like that. I'm thinking of doing that. Some of my designs, I don't know, it's gonna take a while to do different stuff like that. I kind of want to step away from markets to where I'm not doing them as much, and I don't like to have a bunch of them back to back. They're really draining. It's a lot of physical labor that you don't really think about, and that also kind of goes into, I want to change up my products that I offer. I want to start doing more online sales if I can. Something I'm really trying to get more into. And I want to offer more variety, and that kind of gets more into like the print on demand stuff that I'm trying to figure out. But also just my art is kind of changing its trajectory, because I have been working more on this comic book project that I've worked on for a very long time, and I'm getting closer to the point where I'm actually going to be drawing out the pages, because I'm doing it all traditionally. I'm not doing it like digitally, which is what most comics are done with, and it is all going to be watercolor and inking. It's not going to be like your other types of mediums that you can do. But that's been a really fun project, and that's also kind of why I haven't done all this stuff, because when I do have time, there's a few painting projects that I've been working on, but it's mostly been the comic book that I work on. But for the markets, I'm not too worried about my income with those, because right now art is not my main source of income. It's kind of a hobby that pays for itself. I would like it to become at least like some type of secondary source of income, like a supplemental type of income. That is something that I would really prefer, but for now it just kind of pays for, like a hobby that kind of pays for itself. And I am changing. I am doing things a little bit differently, but the painting that I was working on, the mermaid painting, I've done a lot more since the clips that are in this vlog. I've got the face really kind of like developed. If you follow me on TikTok, you kind of see updates here and there. I'm not very consistent on that platform. I'm going to do it differently the next time that I'm recording a vlog like this. I'm trying to get more comfortable with my face in front of the camera and recording this way. But a big problem with that is the fact that I use a lot of filler words, or I kind of ramble and it's hard to understand what I'm saying. When I'm recording my voiceovers, it takes a lot of brain power to just kind of like sit there and focus and talk at a reasonable, understandable pace and not trip over my words. I used to be a more eloquent speaker, but between having chronic migraines and seizures, my mental capacity is not what it used to be, but that's okay. I'm still trying to get used to talking on a flow, especially when it's not like a conversation back and forth. It's worse for me, and I tend to talk in circles already, so I know talking in front of a camera for vlog content, or really any other type of content that I'm gonna do, is gonna be a different experience for me. But I would like to make more of these videos. I kind of already have an idea how I want to change and do things better the next time. Editing is still a learning curve. I'm still trying to figure out all of that. But yeah, I think that is it. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know. I don't really have any questions. I don't really ask you questions. I don't have any questions right now. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.